Hey guys, what's going on? James here. We're back with yet another video. It is MrBucsNation Mock Draft 5.0. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, as you guys know, thedraftnetwork.com, that is the website I'm using. And here's a situation that I think is pretty likely, but I'm still not too sure. Kyler Murray going number 1 overall, Nick Bosa number 2, Quinnen Williams number 3, and Josh Allen number 4. You know, you can probably switch Quinnen Williams or Josh Allen, you know, be it 3 or 4, whichever one. So obviously this could happen. The Cardinals could obviously not take a guy like Kyler Murray at number 1. I still think that Nick Bosa is a very strong possibility. I think a lot of that Kyler Murray to the Cardinals business is a lot of media hype. So, you know, I'm still not ready to put my eggs all the way into that basket yet. But now we have an interesting situation here. The Buccaneers could get a guy like Devin White. They could get a guy like Jawan Taylor. They could get a guy like Rashawn Gary. But I just made a video about this guy, Ed Oliver, defensive tackle out of Houston. I like him a lot, and I think that the talent level difference between himself and Quinnen Williams isn't as large as a lot of people think it is. I think that Ed Oliver can still be just a phenomenal 3-technique defensive tackle. He can play 3-4 defensive end if he needs to. Apparently, some people think he can play middle linebacker, which is just blows my mind. But, you know, I really like Ed Oliver here. Obviously, I talked about the possibility of drafting him over a guy like Devin White. I haven't taken Ed Oliver in any of these mock drafts yet, so for the purposes of this one, I am going to take Ed Oliver with that 5th overall pick, and I don't think it's a reach under any circumstances. I think that that is very, very much a possibility for the Buccaneers to take a guy like Ed Oliver. So again, for this mock draft, I'm taking Ed Oliver with that 5th overall pick. Round number 2 now, and I'm actually going to go defense yet again, cornerback. And I know people have said, James, stop taking young secondary players. But listen, okay, defense isn't good. I want to build up that secondary as much as we can. And cornerback, still, we need some more depth there. So I figure invest more draft picks into that defense and just keep on building it up, keep it young. You know, a lot of people say, well, we don't need any more cornerbacks. Yes, but the good teams, they just keep on building up that depth. So we're going to do that here at the cornerback position. Now, I've already taken cornerback Amani from Penn State, and I've also taken Justin Lane from Michigan State. Recently, Bruce Arians talked about how Vernon Hargreaves and Carlton Davis, they're going to be good outside corners, and he has a lot of confidence in them, and he wants to kind of look for a nickel cornerback now. And I think that Rock Ya-Sin, cornerback out of Temple, could be a very good cornerback for this team in terms of being a nickel type of guy. I know a lot of people have talked to me about it before, for sure, and I think that, you know, 5'11", 190 pounds, some of his best traits include how physical he is, how good he is at man coverage, and I think that fits perfectly for, again, Todd Bowles' defense. That's kind of what it's all about right now, working with press coverage and working with man-to-man. That's kind of what really is the bread and butter type of aspect of the cornerbacks that work in Todd Bowles' defense. So I feel that Rock Ya-Sin, he could slide right in, be a nickel cornerback. I know people are going to say, well, James, come on now, nickel cornerback in round 2, but I think that nickel cornerback is a position that is just really starting to gain steam and how valuable it is to a team. You know, like a lot of people have said to me this offseason, where Buccaneers run nickel defense 70% of the time. A lot of NFL defenses run nickel defense 70% of the time. So I feel having a good nickel cornerback is just as important as having a starting outside cornerback. So that's why, for the purposes of this mock draft, going with Rock Ya-Sin, cornerback out of Temple, with my 2nd round draft pick. In the 3rd round here, and I'm actually going to go with Chuki Polite out of Florida. Again, Chuki Polite, a guy who has late 1st round talent according to a lot of people, but he's just been falling so hard. 6'2", 260 pounds, can be an outside edge rushing linebacker easily. Now, I still think a guy like Shaq Barrett and Carl Nassib might end up being the starting edge rushing linebackers, but Chuki Polite, again, would just be phenomenal depth. Late 1st round talent in the 3rd round. Yes, sir. I know he does have a ton of red flags in terms of, like, you know, lying about an injury and, you know, this, that, and the other. But this guy, at the end of the day, at the start of this whole process, was being considered for a late 1st round draft pick. So I think getting him in the 3rd round, you know, the Draft Network's predictive board, they predict him to be the 75th overall draft prospect. So for the Bucs to get that kind of value in the 3rd round, I think is phenomenal. So Chuki Polite is going to be my 3rd round draft pick here. Round number 4 now, and I'm finally going to go offense. Again, I'm back at the running back position, and I know, you know, Henderson's there, Harris is there, Hill is there. I honestly don't know if any of those 3 guys is going to be on the board when the Buccaneers pick, and I've already picked Trayvon Williams, which I still love a lot. I would pick him now if I didn't want to spice some things up for the purposes of this mock draft. So I'm actually going to go with Devin Singletary, running back out of FAU. I think that he can be phenomenal. Very, very decent running back, 5'9", 200 pounds. A lot of you guys have talked about how much you like him. To me, has very good elusiveness, has very good in kind of zone run types of offenses, which again kind of fits the mold of what Byron Leftwich and Bruce Arians like to do. Again, I don't necessarily know if it's entirely necessary to draft a running back in this draft because, again, you have Ronald Jones, Peyton Barber, Andre Ellington. But, you know, in my opinion, I think the Buccaneers could use a little bit more depth at running back. So that's why in the 4th round here, I'm going to go with Devin Singletary, running back out of FAU. In the 5th round here, we're actually going to go back to the defensive side of the ball. We're going to go with Trey Watson, linebacker out of Maryland. And no, it's not because of my bias to Maryland University. Trey Watson can be a very good linebacker, 6'2", 235 pounds. Very, very decent linebacker in my opinion. His best trait is his tackling. His worst trait is his first step quickness, which again is fine. I actually saw him play at the East-West Shrine game, and I was overall impressed by him. I thought that he did a wonderful job. And again, you know, I don't think that he's going to be, you know, this super starting inside linebacker. I think he's going to be a depth piece, a rotational type of piece, with guys like Levante David, Dayon Buchanan, Jack Sitchie, you know, and now possibly Trey Watson. I think that's a very good, young, youthful kind of linebacking core. I mean, Levante David is getting up there in age, but I think Dayon Buchanan, Jack Sitchie, Trey Watson, that'd be a pretty nice rotational type of lineup for that middle linebacker role. I really like Trey Watson. They just lost Quan Alexander to free agency. They do need to bring maybe another linebacker or two in to kind of compete for a starting gig, and I also think that Watson could help out a lot on special teams as well. So that is why, for the purposes of this mock draft in the 5th round, I'm going with Trey Watson, linebacker out of Maryland. Now I'm going to be able to make 2 picks here. Now obviously another reason that I picked a guy like Trey Watson at pick 145 is because after pick 145 the Buccaneers do not have another pick until pick 208. That is a big long jump from pick 145 to pick 208, so I had to go with linebacker there. But anyway, with this pick 208, I'm actually going to go with offensive tackle Isaiah Prince out of Ohio State. Shout out to you, Logan. 6'6", 310 pounds. Again, it's all about just building up that offensive line depth for me. A big proponent of just building up that depth. Isaiah Prince, he's got the size, man. 6'6", 310 pounds. He's a very good run blocker. Does need to work on his usage of hands and his pass blocking ability. But again, I trust the Buccaneers coaching staff very, very firmly. Harold Goodwin, you know, I trust him a lot. So I think that he's going to do a phenomenal job with a guy like Isaiah Prince. And that is why I'm going with him with this 6th round draft pick. Because we have not really addressed wide receiver at all in this draft, and that's fine. You know, the Buccaneers, I still feel, have a very solid wide receiver core. But again, for the purposes of this mock draft, I'm going to address, you know, wide receiver with this final 7th round draft pick, and I'm actually going to go with probably a bigger guy, Lil Jordan Humphrey. He's not little, guys. 6'4", 220 pounds, playing out of Texas. Did a phenomenal job. He has some pretty decent route running overall. He has good balance. He's not as quick, which again, he's 6'4", 220 freaking pounds, so I wouldn't expect him to be super quick, but a big guy you can just throw the ball up to. He'll jump up, he'll get it. I think he could be wonderful depth with guys like Sergio Bailey, Justin Watson, Bobo Wilson. There's a lot of interesting wide receivers on this team right now who could battle for that backup wide receiver spots, and I think that adding a guy like Lil Jordan Humphrey, not little, but you know, it'd be a nice big body that could be very interesting. Maybe you could even move him to tight end possibly, you know, who knows. But I really like Lil Jordan Humphrey out of Texas, and he's going to be the final pick for this mock draft. This was a very interesting mock draft, okay? Ja'Kai Polite in the 3rd round, Rock Ya-Sin in the 2nd round, Ed Oliver in the 1st round, Devin Singletary in the 4th, Trey Watson in the 5th, Isaiah Prince in the 6th, and then Lil Jordan Humphrey in the 7th. You could almost make a meme about a lot of these names, okay? This is actually a pretty funny looking mock draft on paper, but I think that it solved a lot of the Buccaneers' needs. Ed Oliver, I think, is completely worthy of the 5th overall pick. Rock Ya-Sin, I think, could be a phenomenal nickel cornerback, very good at press, very good at man coverage. I think he could be very good. Ja'Kai Polite could potentially be a steal of the draft, or it could also be a very bad bust of the draft as well, depending on how things go. But again, I'm putting a lot of faith in the Buccaneers coaching staff to develop a guy like Ja'Kai Polite there. Again, late 1st round talent in terms of his overall raw ability, but he has been dropping for one reason or another. He has had a couple of red flags throughout the process. Devin Singletary, running back out of FAU, not a running back I've taken in any of these mock drafts drafts yet, I believe, but very good elusiveness, very good overall balanced running back ability. I think he could be very good. Trey Watson, linebacker out of Maryland. Again, I think that he could just be a phenomenal rotational type of guy, very just kind of balanced overall linebacker. I saw him play at the East-West Shrine game, and I was very impressed by him. Isaiah Prince, offensive tackle out of Ohio State. I want a guy like Harold Goodwin to take a guy like Isaiah Prince under his wing and really work with him. I think that he has the size to be the eventual successor to a guy like DeMar Dodson, okay? Like, I really like Isaiah Prince out of Ohio State. Again, shout out to you, Logan. But again, Isaiah Prince, very big, very solid guy. He just needs to work on his technique a little bit and work on his pass blocking as well. But in terms of run blocking, he's very good. And then little Jordan Humphrey, wide receiver out of Texas, not little, 6'4", 220 pounds. Maybe you move him to tight end. Probably not. I would say keep him at wide receiver and just have him go up and jump up and get the ball. He's got phenomenal size. Let's use it. You know, let's use it in the red zone. He'd be a phenomenal red zone target, in my opinion. You know, having a lineup with like Justin Watson, Mike Evans, Lil Jordan Humphrey, and OJ Howard, like, how do you cover that? You know, that'd be phenomenal. You just have so many big targets, you know, so I think he could be a phenomenal addition to that wide receiver depth chart. But guys, let me know what you think about this mock draft. Again, getting very unorthodox with these kind of things. Some very meme-ish types of names here: Rocky Sin, Ja'Kai Polite, Isaiah Prince, Lil Jordan Humphrey. So let me know what you think about all these picks. Which ones did you like? Which ones did you not like? Leave your mock drafts down in the comments section below. And thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you guys all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video or the next live stream. And until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs. Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and I want to thank you guys for making it to the end of the video. It is greatly appreciated. Now, I have not usually done this, but I am getting more and more interested in growing this channel just as a whole. I am actually, you know, we're starting to build a lot of steam in terms of just being an overall community and just working on building up the channel and building up the overall community. So that is why I'm asking for your guys' help today. Share this video on Facebook, share this video on Twitter, share it in whichever social media platform that you guys find it appropriate, be it Reddit, Twitter, Facebook, whatever have you. It would be greatly appreciated. Trying to grow the channel here and just trying to make some big things happen for you guys, for the Buccaneers fan base, and just trying to grow the fan base in general. Another thing I want to address here is I do have some donation links down in the description below. Both my Patreon and my PayPal links are both down there, so if you are interested in supporting the channel in a financial way, it would be greatly appreciated. Again, no obligation to, but again, would be phenomenally appreciated to support the channel so I can continue to give you guys new, exciting types of content. But again, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed, and as always, I'll see you in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.